We have an interesting topic for today. Would you marry this type of woman?
Marriage is a
Next
bad deal
question.
for
Should
men.
men marry women that have had abortions?
Should men marry women
Yes
that
or
have had
no?
abortions?
Should men marry women that have had abortions?
I wouldn't say it's a deal breaker.
Yes or no? Fairly so aggressive. Abortion, healthcare for women, as they call it. First, you should consider that marrying someone means you will dedicate your life to her and even die for her, so you should carefully and wisely consider whom you are marrying. Abortion, personally for me, is a deal breaker. Because if a woman is so selfish that she would put her comfort or her interest before her own child, then she will definitely put herself or her interest before me. And if you choose to love with all your heart and dedicate yourself to that type of person, you will be hurt for sure. It also shows that she doesn't take responsibility for her actions.
Should men marry women with STDs?
I wouldn't say. Here,
A quarter of women have herpes.
No,
Should men marry them?
no.
I'm going to answer.
Okay, go ahead.
I would like to answer your question. I
Definitely
would say,
no.
just as it is not a disqualifier for if a man facilitated an abortion, and 90% of, so for every woman who chooses to get an abortion, 90% of the time, the man is actively or passively supporting it.
Here he has a right, because you can't tell someone you get pregnant to have an abortion, then say, I want to marry someone who had an abortion. Like hypocrisy.
It is not a deal breaker for a man to marry a woman who's had an abortion, just like it's not a deal breaker for a woman to marry a man who had facilitated an abortion.
Should men marry women that have slept with over 10 men?
Should they marry someone who's slept with over 10 men? I would say
10
that
men.
when you have more sexual partners, that's definitely that's something that's concerning. That could be a red flag.
So you would
but
say
that,
no?
But that doesn't apply. I'm not going to say that someone is unmarriageable.
Come on. 10 men? No. Definitely deal breaker. I think that disqualifies a woman from marriage. Because sleeping with someone is not something trivial. Life comes out of it, and it affects you deeply psychologically, mentally, and with 10 different men, it means she has no self-control, and sleeping with someone doesn't mean anything to her. It's better to end up alone than with a woman like that. It will be a mental torture, and I doubt she can really love at that point. Not to mention that marriage to someone like that is doomed. Take a look at this study. Women with 10 or more partners were the most likely to divorce, so run away from them. You should be looking the ones down here. What's surprising to me is that he's a Christian and he knows that sleeping with someone ideally should happen only in marriage. And it should be concerning even with only one other person, let alone 10. And think about this, if we want to stop this degeneracy, then men should not marry this type of women. So at least the new generation will learn from their mistakes.
Because of one particular trait.
What about porn?
Okay, what
about
porn?
women that have participated in porn? Should men marry women that have participated in porn?
I would say that that's definitely a red flag, but it is not a necessarily. It's not a deal
Do you
breaker.
have a son?
Come on
can I
now.
answer the questions, Pearl? Because you can keep asking questions and I'll never answer.
Because
them.
it just would be easier if I got a yes or no. Because you keep giving me these roundabout, and I'm just at yes
No,
or no.
I'm giving you good ansers.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
so I'd like to finish
Passive
on
aggression
pornography.
there.
Go ahead.
I would say it's not a deal breaker if a woman had participated in pornography.
I think he's misunderstanding the point here. Maybe he thinks that this type of women should get married to the same type of men. Then definitely yes. But I'm assuming that the question is for a normal guy who hasn't pushed his girlfriend for an abortion, hasn't slept around with many women, and hasn't participated in the adult movies industry. A woman who has participated in adult movies should leave society to protect it from herself and should focus on saving her soul. disqualified from marriage. No brainer. Because she has attacked that institution with her videos, since porn is one of the main reasons why so many marriages fail. To marry a woman who has participated in adult movies, better to live alone than to humiliate yourself.
Why can't men have standards? And this is what I've noticed from the trad community and like the conservatives. It's like the quality of women keeps going down and down and down. And we can't even definitively say, hey, maybe we shouldn't marry porn stars. Maybe we shouldn't marry overweight women.
She's
you know,
right.
it's like we constantly get rid of standards for men.
No, I'm fine with standards as long as...
And we can't even... No, you're not, because you're not even definitively saying you shouldn't marry a
His
porn
face.
star. You would never in a million years tell your son
Yeah,
to
police
marry
right
a
here.
porn star.
Come on, even
An
to a porn
active,
star.
currently working porn
No,
star?
even a previous
You said,
porn
you said
star.
former.
Where's the
Even
difference?
former. You would never. Come on, someone you
It's the
love.
same.
Okay.
Same, even worse. Imagine an active worker. Anyway, I would say we should have some standards for the person we are going to dedicate our life to. And we should be unapologetic about it. Because the woman you will marry, it will affect your life more than anything or anyone else. So you should be very careful if you don't want to end up like Will Smith.